With another one. This one is we're going to talk about two things. We're going to talk about risk management, and we're also going to talk about the projects and their current overviews. So let's get into this. I created this little spreadsheet. It's very basic, and I just want to explain this. A lot of dApps, they have different plans or packages or whatever they want to call them, and they're usually locked in, 7 days, 14, 21, 28, things like that. There's some that have sliders. You can pick a day between this and that. And I want to explain why most of the time I always pick the shortest time frame. This isn't all the ways the case, but it's really risk-based. And I want to talk about this risk management. A lot of people see the big ROIs. We've all seen it lately with MagicStaker, and it's really, I don't know, it's tough when people kind of ape into those big ROIs. I understand you only live once, big gain, big risk, big reward. But there's a lot of people that this is like the only crypto they have. It might be the only money they have. So they have to, for one, if it's the only money you have, you shouldn't be an ROI. This is not something you should gamble your life savings on. This is something you should do with income that you're willing to lose. If you are not willing to lose this, don't get an ROI. It is, there are so many things that can happen. ROI dApps themselves are not a long-term investment. We will see soon that these things last a month or two, some even just days. So that's just, you need to judge your risk, and I can't judge that for you. I don't know what you're willing to put into these. It might be zero, it might be 100,000. I don't know, but I'm just trying to provide information, tips that I've seen, and I'm just trying to help people limit the risk, because these are super high risk. You want to limit as much of that risk as possible and also get the gains. So let's talk about this. A lot of people, they see a site and it's like, hey, you can get, 200% over 28 days. Or they have a smaller plan that they're like, or you can get 19% in a week. Most people see that 200% and go, ooh, I want the 200%. I don't want the 19%. But they don't understand that they're basically getting the same thing. But with that 19%, you limit your risk. And I want to show you that why. So let's say we invest 100 Matic or dollars, or I don't know, AVAX or whatever. And at the end of week one, you have 119 because you made 19% on your investment. The end, what I do at the end of the first week is I go, oh, that worked out well. The contract is still going up. Things are going good. I'm going to take this 119. I'm going to stick it back in and get another 19% on that reinvestment. At the end of week two, I have 141. It's growing. Same thing happens week three. I have a decision to make. Do I pull this out and do I reinvest it, or do I just take my profits and leave? I judge what's going on with the contract. Everything's looking good. I stick it back in. At the end of week three, I get 168. It's great. It's amazing. I'm doing great. The end of the next week, I do it again. Week four, I'm on 28 days now. I made 200. So I doubled my investment. But they were promising the same thing if I locked up for 28 days. So you're getting you can get the same thing, or you can even get more out of some of these. And I can show one of those in a second. But what this does, it gives me, there's an exit point at the end of week one. I've got another exit point here. I've got another exit point here. And it can continue on until I judge that this thing is too risky. This gives me different points where I can look at it and go, oh, hey, the balance is going down, or I don't think it's sustainable, or whatever, and I can exit part of the way through that 28 days. That's why I always take those shorter plans in most cases, because yes, it's sometimes, and there are some dApps where that 28-day lockup is so high that the shorter ones can't compete with it, but that's okay. You're not, you don't want to chase that shiny little thing that will probably be almost impossible to get. If you ape into Matic Staker right now in the platinum, you're never going to see it, even though it says that you're going to get 8,000 ROI, whatever. So just remember that there's risk in that. There's risk for those longer lockups, and sometimes those returns are just so high, they're not realistic. They're probably not going to happen. So just be careful with those. Let me show you an example. We'll just drag this guy over here. Yeah, this is straight from Matic FOMO. I would never touch this 28-day one right now. Another month into this contract, that's really risky. But I mean, why would I do this? I mean, when I've got 14 days at a 284% return, people see, ooh, this is bigger, I'm gonna jump into this. But let's look at it. If I do 100 in here, I get 476 back. If I put 100 into here, it's 284. But what happens is, this is half the term, so I get an exit period in the middle. I'm not going to get my 476 at 2 weeks, obviously, but halfway through this, I think it's going to last another 14 days. I take that 284.20, and it's now 807, which is much better than that 476. So, and that actually gave me an exit point halfway in between to make that judgment call, where this one did not. So there are instances where this is going to be much higher, and it's also going to be instances where it'll be lower. But those give you the opportunity to make that decision part of the way through instead of just holding on and hoping. Holding on and hoping is the poor investment strategy, and if you've got limited funds, that's not a good strategy to do. And like I said, if you've got limited funds and this is your only money, you need to get it out of ROI, get into something more stable, less risk. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong. I saw a comment the other day, somebody says, I'm only getting, with this plan, you only get 19%. 19% is a lot, guys. If you compound 19% a week, let's say we compound this weekly and we put in $100, euros, Matic, whatever, and we do that every single week and we calculate that 100 turned into just over 1.7 million in 1 year. So there's no, don't listen to somebody who says only 19% a week. That's 19% a week is insanely high. So just remember that. Some of those lower yields are very worth taking those exit points for, because you can make that judgment call if you want to stay in something longer. These dApps are changing all the time. There's new ones coming out every single day. There's ones you can, and once you get it, if you have enough, diversify them across different platforms. So if one fails quickly, all of your funds were not in one bag. So I just wanted to touch on those first. And now we get to the fun part, our good old risk score sheet. There has been a lot going on over the last 48 hours. I took a little bit of a break yesterday, but I wanted to roll through these and just update some of the scores. We've got some new ones. We've got some that unfortunately died, and ones that are probably going to be deleted off here because they were total failures in the beginning, and we'll talk about those. Anyway, Stable One V2 risk, I'm keeping it up there. Its balance is kind of slowly declining. It was up over 800,000 Matic. Now I think it's down like 670,000. So it's dropped quite a bit. Profit stays in the middle, obviously. Sustainability, I'm going to drop it down to a 3. It just kind of keeps going down. I feel like that V1 really hit them hard, and I think people are kind of losing faith after they moved over to V2 and they see other options out there. Matic Staker, obviously there's a lot of stuff going around about Matic Staker. The last 4 days it has dropped from like over 4 million. I think it's right now under let's have a look. Yeah, it's at 843,000, so it's dropped almost 80% in the last 4 days. This is kind of what we've predicted would happen as those rates continue to rise and people pull out funds. Even if they reinvest 50-60%, when the ROI is like 2,000 or something like that, even if you reinvest 50%, you're still taking 1,000% of what you put in. So the only way that would have ever been sustainable is if everybody redeposited 90+% back in, and that would be a very difficult task to get a whole community, every investor in this, hundreds of investors, probably thousands of investors, to do that. That's a tough ask, especially for a token that is unknown. It's they say it's going to be this deflationary token, and that it's going to pay 2% for the rest of your life or whatever, but they haven't really released the specific details of the tokenomics, how it's going to sustain value, what its value will be in the beginning. So that's a tough one for people to just dump Matic into and hope it has value. It didn't really have that selling point that I think they wanted. But I mean, we haven't even seen that token contract come up. Has it been audited? What does it even look like? So they can write a bunch of words down, but until we see some kind of proof on it, I don't know if I would be dumping a bunch of Matic into a plan that has no, one thing that I've learned in a lot of these is you don't, you should expect these to fail, and whatever they promise you in the future, you should not take that as fact. There are a few exceptions. I've seen a lot that have been very honest in what they're promising to do, but I also see a lot that will promise just to get you to invest because they get a cut of that. So the only Matic Staker change I'm going to make is if you deposit now, you're not getting your ROI back. We're going to drop that to 0. Yeah, it's been around for 26 days, launched on February 10th. So yeah, even those early people in Platinum that dumped in early on Platinum still haven't even reached their unlock period. Phantom One, yeah, there's just been so much going on in these last day or two. Yesterday, Phantom One, the Phantom Network itself, their lead developer, one of their lead developers left, and it caused the price of Phantom One to plummet. It's now lower than Matic, and it's just very uncertain on what's going to happen, not just with this DApp, but with the Phantom Network. I feel the Phantom Network is going to rebound. I mean, you can find developers a lot of places. I think the core values are still there. The problem is that really affected, everything that was kind of built on top of Phantom, including this DApp. So the contract balance has come down. I mean, it dropped quite a bit yesterday and seems to kind of stabilized, 120 to 150 Phantom tokens. I think if we see it drop under 100,000, I don't know if I would really do much with that. But that's one of those where it was offering, 109, was offering 19% a week. That was a really good example of one of those that you should always, not always, but most of the time, judge your risk and put it into those shorter term ones. So right now, Phantom, I'm going to bump that up because of the risk around the network. Profit's the same. Sustainability, I'm going to bring that down. I really hope that one lasts because it's been a very good DApp. I mean, they went through a design change and that helped. They've got some little tweaks that they could have made still, but it's been a solid DApp, honestly. Matic FOMO, I'm gonna probably leave the risk where it's at. I might even leave it down, bring it down a little bit. A lot of the people that from Matic Stakers see this as a very familiar and established one, and so a lot of people came over from Matic Staker. Yeah, I'm just thinking about this. The risk, I don't know. I actually might move it up, honestly, because of how old it is. You know, if I were to be putting something in this, I would probably put in, yeah, maybe like this 14-day unlock plan. I can get my return on investment in 7 days. Yeah, just these ones that are a little older. You know, there's a lot of Matic coming into this, but it's been around for a while. So, you know, a lot of these plans down here are going to be unlocking, and you just have to weigh that in there. So move that risk up a little bit. Sustainability, I might move it down just because of its age. So just be aware of that. Multimatic, yeah, let me grab that. Multimatic, it's one of my favorites. Yeah, let's talk about it. The contract balance has been just steadily increasing little by little, which is great. They added the lottery. I did a video on that, which is awesome because they are, you know, any proceeds from that goes straight to the balance. There's no dev fee. They're not taking anything from that lottery. Yeah, this thing, it just seems to do so well. The best thing about this is, you know, you can get it, you know, it's still early, relatively early. You know, it's 8 days old. It's a little bit younger than Matic FOMO. But yeah, just the secret of this thing is the snooze button. I don't know why people didn't jump on this. I mean, you can jump in to the 14 days and then you can snooze your investment. Basically keep getting the same return day after day, and you can just snooze it 1 day at a time and just keep it going as long as you want. So I mean, that gives you, you know, we talked about these exit points. What that does is after, you know, week 2, you get an exit point every single day for the rest of the investment. So that is really good. It's something that I think a lot of people overlook when they look at Multimatic. But there are other chains coming to the system. If you notice up here, it says Multimatic. I think that's going to change. Well, this one's going to stay the same, but I think there's going to be some other tokens that we can stake using the same logic with the snooze. So I'm really excited about that. That's still one of my favorites. It is still early, you know, but as they age, you know, that risk does go up a little bit. Profit, I think sustainability is the same because they added that lottery system like yesterday, and I think that really helps things out. Daily Matic, let me grab that one. Daily Matic is just that clone of Stable One. Let me have a look at, let's grab this. We can actually just grab it and drag it over here. Let's look at the contract. Balance of 216 with invested 332. It's a pretty good ratio for being 6 days old. So yeah. I don't know if I'd really move much around because I mean it's 216 after 6 days is not tons, so I think the risk is still relatively high. They are a little higher than the regular stable one, but they're not crazy high. Sustainability, I think I'd keep it down as well. Matic X, some people love this thing. Myself, I am skeptical. We can drag this over so you guys can see why. If we look in here, let's refresh this thing. Its contract, the balance is 208. Let me switch here. All right, you can see the total staked is 661,000, but then you look at the contract balance, and that's 208,000, and that's been the same the entire time it's been going. It's 8 days old. The reason why that disparity is there between the staked and the balance right now is because the way they structured this. So when you invest in here, you put in this is one that I said I wasn't probably going to touch, but what happens is once you stick something in here, you automatically get that return. So if you got for instance, this one's 60% per day. Basically this will give you like 50-something% total. So you automatically get 55% or so of your investment back as soon as you deposit, and then your principal is going to sit there until the end of the term. So what that means is they're giving out a lot in the beginning, especially because their referral fees, the team fee, things like that, they all add up. So as soon as you deposit something like 60-70% of that automatically comes out of the balance because it goes back to being withdrawn by the user. It goes to referral fees, it goes to the team fee. So all that's left for this contract balance to pay out is principal initial investments. There's no ROI that's going to be paid out of this because it's already been paid out. It is an interesting way to doing things. They started with that 9-day freeze, and this thing is now 8 days old. So tomorrow should be interesting to watch, see what happens to that balance as people start unlocking and start withdrawing those principal investments. BNB Fury, this is one that I was kind of skeptical of because I just really have not liked these that are on the smart chain, the Binance Smart Chain, because there's just a lot of rug pulls here. Let me just switch here to a different network. So we don't keep getting that going up. So yeah, this thing's actually been going pretty well. It's got 5,709 staked, contract balance just over 3,400. That's BNB. So yeah, just a little over 1.2 million, almost 1.3 million in the balance. So yeah, for a BNB staking DApp, it's been doing pretty well. These ones I would go with the shortest term possible, which is 7 days. But yeah, make your own judgment call on that. It's actually been doing pretty well for a DApp that you can withdraw pretty regularly. Yeah, I don't know. It's been 4 days. It's been pretty stable so far. I don't know if I would move much right now. I think the risk is still middle of the line. If it was something else like on Matic or AVAX or something, I'd probably move that risk down a little bit because the balance is pretty good and steady. But because it is on BSC, I'm going to leave it where it is. Profit's kind of middle of the line, and I think it's still just kind of waiting to see. AVAX Staker, this one launched yesterday. Let's move it over here so you can see it. This one on Avalanche, this thing just skyrocketed as soon as it launched. I mean, this is like 36 hours old, not even that, and it has just gone crazy. Let's look at, it's got almost 42,000, probably higher. I think I need to refresh the page here. Let's look at the contract. Almost 3 million staked in 36 hours. That is like incredibly high. The only caution I would put on that, is that sustainable? Can it keep that level of investment coming in, or is that like an initial surge that's going to fall in the next day or two? So that's one thing I would watch out for there. Risk, I'd put it at 4 because it's got a lot of funds in there. Profit, it's probably going to be up there. It depends on when you get in. This is kind of what I'm talking about, that 19%. That's just on your daily withdrawals even. But I mean, even if it goes as long as Matic Staker, this thing's going to be safe. This silver, where you double your investment in 14 days. I'm not saying how you should play these. You should, judge your own risk. And I'm not saying you need to jump in these, but this is just what's available on these. My personal plan, I put in some with here, and then after that I'll roll it into here because this daily earnings after 14 days, this will be much higher. And then I'll roll it into here to get whatever my investment was here. I'd roll it into here, and after 7 days this earning would be safe, and then I'd be building on after that, and then I'll see where it's at. Just keep your eyes on that one. I'm going to put 6 on the profit. I mean, those higher plans, they're going to get high in profit because those ROIs are going to climb. Not as fast as Matic Staker, because this one's going to go up 3% a day. Sorry, 0.3% on those ROIs instead of 0.5 like Matic Staker. Sustainability, I'll probably put it as a 7 right now. And I'm actually going to start changing how I do this formula because I want to factor in the days. You have to realize that this thing is only on its second day. It's very early, but just watch that balance. Matic, I don't know what it's called, but I'm going to remove this from the list right now. This was a total failure from the team there. Hayes Crypto messed up. They didn't catch some problems on this one. I messed up. I had a lot of calls to review this. But yeah, this one was kind of rushed from all sides, and still unsure if this was a rug pull or if they made an honest mistake, but they removed their site. Hayes Crypto removed their audit from their site. I reached out to Hayes Crypto, and I'm still waiting to hear back from them what their response is on this one. But that was just a total bomb. I am extremely sorry for even posting it on my site. As soon as I found out what was going on, I removed that link and also gave warnings in a pinned message in the description. So we are going to remove that. I'm not even going to put it in the garbage heap because I don't think it even counts as being an ROI DApp of what happened. And I think it would drag down our average, and I don't think that's really fair because it shouldn't even be averaged in there. Polystaker. You know, this one's really grown on me. I still dislike this plan, like plan number 3, where you basically take a gamble about what your return is going to be. I really don't like that. Some people do. I don't know. I like to know when I stake something in here what I'm going to get back, instead of putting in an amount and hoping for the best. You know, I don't know. I don't know why you would. I just don't know why you would do this. I don't know. It's really up to you, but I'm not a fan of this plan. The other ones seem okay. You know, obviously I'm a fan of the shorter terms. And this one you can get your return investment back sooner because you can withdraw daily if you want. Their balance has been it's been going up. 719,000 staked. I think a lot of people are kind of looking at this in a different light, because it's been going up slowly. Yeah, 532 in the balance, 532,000. So kind of a good ratio there for just getting started. It's young. It's only 3 days old. So I mean, I think I'll put the risk at 4. Profit's a little lower than most, I think. Let's grab that. Yeah, 36 over 15 days. You know, that's like 18% a week. So it's a little bit lower. Yeah, there's no like big groundbreaking returns on this, but it's okay. I might put it at 5. I mean, it's at least at the level of stable 1. Sustainability, I'll probably put that up at 7 as well. So I mean, that's a good option as well. Matic Fury. This is another one that I got called to review today. I did that review today. Of course, being, you know, coming from the BNB Fury, I was very familiar with this interface. It seems to do pretty well. Yeah. I just like that it has a selector of how many days you want to do, and you can do 7 days, which I love those options. And being on Matic, there's not very many that let you do 7 days. So I do like that option. But yeah, let's look at the contract. So 23,000, let's refresh, see if that's changed. We'll give it a second to update here. I probably need to connect so I can see my, yeah. I don't like these ones that don't let you see what's staked or anything until you connect to your wallet. I really dislike that. I like, just be transparent about what you've got staked, guys. I mean, just show us what's going on. So 24,215, the contract is, you know, 20,000. So I mean, it's slightly above or below the actual staked, so there's not a huge disparity there. This is young, it launched today. I'm just worried, you know, that 20-something thousand is just not a lot. I would love to see, you know, before it hits this 24-hour mark, to at least go over like 50,000. So that's one thing that I'd really watch out for. So because it's new, it doesn't have a lot of volume yet. You know, I'm going to put that risk at, we're going to go conservative and say it's a little riskier. I was going to say 6, but profit, it's a little bit on the lower side because they take out a huge fee when you remove. I think you get 80% of what you deposit, because there's like a withdrawal fee, and then there's also a reinvestment you're forced into of another 10%. Sustainability, I don't know. right now, because of that, I think I'm gonna go middle of the road and go 5 because I just don't know what it's gonna do. But I mean, it is young, and I need to start factoring this into this score, and I'll figure out a formula on how to do that. Anyway, that's all the ones that are like in the game right now. The ones that I really like are FOMO, Multimatic because of that snooze feature. It gives us all those exit points, after 14 days. I love that. AVIX Staker because the balance is just so high for being so young. So I'd watch that one if it keeps going, up and up and up. It's really good. Just remember, earlier the better to get in on these, especially the ones that just keep going up. And Polystaker, I think those are kind of my top 4. That's just my opinion on these. I mean, if you guys don't agree with the risk or whatever on some of these, you can let me know. Yeah. Anyway, some that went to the garbage heap this week, Matic Heaven, I don't know. That one, it seems like the little kid of the Matic world, it was small, kind of doing its own thing. It did have issues with its interface, but it just never caught on. It never really, got any traction. I think they made a mistake with hiring the agency for their Telegram group. They needed to build more of a community around it, and it just kind of went to, being the same as everything else, but just at a smaller scale. So that one died this weekend. And then multi-stake on the BNB. A lot of the BNB ones I'm kind of torn on. Some of them are really good, but a lot of them are bad that are just rug pulls. So they're really hard to find good ones that last a while. That one lasted 9 days. So if you were, as you can see, I mean, even some of these BNB ones, if you were in early and did like 7 days, you would have gotten something out of those. Just remember the average lifespan here, guys, when you're looking at these. Phantom 1's getting up there. Matic FOMO is getting up there. Yeah, they're all within 2 to 6 days of hitting the average. And as we get more that kind of die, which I don't want, but they're going to happen, this average will get more and more accurate, and something to kind of watch out for. Anyway, guys, there's another thing I want to discuss is we're not going to be reviewing as many dApps because we're going to be extremely careful about the ones that I review. We're going to put some kind of guidelines on what a dApp needs to have, and I might put out a little video mainly pointed at these dApp developers that if they want a review from my side, it's going to have certain things. And one that's, I can tell you right now is, things like this, I really don't like when they put the staked volume and they don't have the balance here. I do not like when users have to search and they have to go into the contract to find that balance. Everybody should be able to see what that balance is when they open the site. I think it's a disservice to investors not to show that balance, because that is what pays everybody. Honestly, total staked, it's I don't know. We can see, let's grab a good example of total staked. I've seen them tout on the Matic Staker. We've almost got 14 million staked in Matic Staker, but the balance is at 795,000 right now. So this can be very, yes, you had a lot of Matic being staked, but this is what matters. And I don't think it should be acceptable that these dApp developers don't put that balance right on their front page, front and center. So yeah, guys, tell me what you think about that. That's going to be one thing that I'm going to require on all my videos going forward. Yeah, I will refuse to review any more of these dApps that are not at least transparent with their balance. I don't think any of you should have to go to the contract to go look for the balance. Anyway, guys, this is a longer video. Sorry it took so long, but if you got any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'm just trying to be very transparent with you guys about where we are on these. I'm trying to give you guys the opportunity to get in on these early, but also like try to find ones that are going to be good investments. Anyway, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that button. If you like the video, like the video. Anyway, we will catch you on the next one.